With early voting underway now here in Bexar County, there had been a question about whether there was a backlog of voter registration applications that would be processed in time for early voting and Election Day itself. Here to talk about that and more is Grant Moody, Precinct 3 Commissioner of Bexar County. Thank you very much for coming in.
Happy to be here.
I want to get to an exciting development on Fort Sam Houston in just a moment, but first, with the election coming up, and there were tens of thousands of voter registration applications that were backlogged because of a different system that had to be used. A question of whether they would be processed. They have been, will be?
They have all been processed. So our previous third-party contractor quit providing service either July, early August. We needed to transition over to the state teams system. And that took place. It took a little bit of time. While we were transitioning, that backlog built up of applications, but once we were set up with teams, then that backlog has been addressed. I think the other piece here, though, is the court moved forward with trying to hire another third-party contractor.
Commissioner's Court.
Yes, via our systems to do what the old third party was doing, Votech. To me, that seems premature. We're going to go spend $1.5–2 million with a new third party when we are just getting onto the new team system at the state, which provides the service to 235 counties in the state of Texas and is being upgraded continuously. So it offers a lot more services than it did in the past. Why would we spend another $2 million taxpayer dollars if teams can provide that?
And since we are going ahead with teams right now without the new VR system or possible VR system, you'll be able to see the results of this election, how it went.
Exactly.
And so you won't be making a decision on that at Commissioner's Court, the new system, until after the election, right?
That's my understanding with the timing, but we did already approve the ability to negotiate with that third party, so the court was already moving forward with it. A lot of times these things, once they start, it's really hard to slow them down or stop them after the fact. But we'll see. We'll see through this election how teams performs. We'll see all the functionality, and I think that it's going to be capable. People are going to be surprised at some of the new functionality. I've had conversations with the elections department within the Secretary of State's office, and I think that we should give it a real go before we think about spending another $2 million.
And now at Fort Sam Houston, people just realized recently, Defense Department decided to get rid of U.S. Army South and U.S. Army North commands in San Antonio, move them, and so we're losing jobs, but you're trying to keep jobs or get more jobs here. How is that going with the beach pavilion renovation?
Yeah, South Beach. So this has actually been out there for many years, and it's a great opportunity to really double down on military medicine here in San Antonio, make us Military Medicine City, USA. Opportunity to potentially bring up to 1,000 jobs here, $600 million of economic impact, and the county's contributed $10 million, the city's contributed $10 million. Both the city and county have submitted grant applications to the state for an additional $10 million. So 30 total, and that will be able to cover the vast majority of a renovation of that building on Fort Sam, which could bring all those jobs and continue to bring jobs from the Defense Health Agency here to San Antonio.
What's the timeline on when the feds would make a decision on where they would move those jobs if they do?
Well, it's really, really complicated up there right now, and I'm not privy to all those discussions, right? They have a lot of different leased space in the DC area and other locations around the country. They're constantly evaluating whether they should renew leases, whether they should buy buildings, whether they should, come to a military base like Joint Base San Antonio. But it's ongoing. But I think in the next, 12 months, it's a really critical time for us to show meaningful progress on the renovations. And I think if we do that, we have a great opportunity to bring all those jobs here and further, reinforce the military medicine component here.
And one of the selling points is that the lease deal here, because they would lease it from the city, county, state, whatever that, or you've already paid for those, is that it would be cheaper to come here than it is in Falls Church, Virginia, or wherever.
It would be way cheaper. Numbers, I'd need to confirm, but tens of millions of dollars cheaper by coming here to Joint Base San Antonio. And so I think it aligns with the administration and the Department of Defense, their goals right now to cut costs and bring efficiencies to the departments. And I think it makes a lot of sense, both from the federal perspective and for our local community. I would just like to touch on the Army North and Army South, because I think there's some misconceptions there. Those commands have been proposed to move to North Carolina. That will likely take place. There are, hundreds of jobs underneath each one of those commands that will not leave San Antonio. And so we don't know exactly how many numbers will leave with that move. We'll obviously continue to work with our congressional delegation and with the Pentagon to try to ensure that we keep as many of those as possible. But I think there's some other real opportunities here with the Department of Defense. As there's all this consolidation, this reorganization going on, we may lose a command here or there, but there's also opportunities to bring commands here. And DHA is one of those, but there's others. And we need to be leaning into all those, and I want to.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Grant Moody, Precinct 3 Commissioner. Thanks for coming in.
Happy.